welcome back to another video. Right, I'm going to kick this video off with another apology before I put anyone else out of business, and that is to Savage Gear, because what I found, sorry, this is my bad, Jesus Christ. After the video, doing the video, obviously I showed you snapping the bloody line and telling you about the times the line had snapped. I'd used it as my hook snood bait fishing. Actually, it wasn't that time. The actual second time was my main line, but I'll get into that in a bit. Now, what I found was, because obviously every time I did it, it snapped without fail. But what I found is because it never, whenever I used this, was the amnesia. It was amnesia that I was trying to think of. This line is only £15. It's a lot stretchier. Do you see what I mean? So the knot, it's a little bit different. Whereas with this fluorocarbon, it's not like that. It seems brittle. Now, the little simple thing is, what I did was I tied another knot. I tied a uni knot with about 5 turns. You know, you put it in and do the little loop and go round inside the loop about 5 times. Pulled that tight. Bloody hell, I couldn't snap it. Not unless I really yanked it, but it would snap with the other line anyway. Do you know what I mean? So that's what it was. It isn't actually the line. Because Pete, I bet there's loads of people going, I've been using that line for years. It's absolutely brilliant. It is brilliant. The trouble is, I personally, my mistake, not used to using fluorocarbon. I've never used it. I used to use the stuff called 15 pound line called Sight Through. It's never ever snapped on me. My braid has always snapped before my bloody, or do you know what I mean? It always has done. So hopefully I made amends there. And as for the other scenario, when I said it happened twice when we were bait fishing, it was my main line. And what it was is because we don't use a shock leader or anything because of the weed. We don't cast out very far when we're bait fishing for bass. Do you know what I mean? So what actually happened was the line that I'm not going to mention that line. I've changed it now. I put £30 line on now. Like I say, we're not casting out very far. And obviously, where the clip had been on there for so long, these little line connectors, you know, them things, some people actually use them as lure clips. I wouldn't, a bit too big for me, but, you know, this line, obviously where it had been, you know, I'd used it so many times, it worn. That's the case in not checking your knots. If you check your knots and you can't snap and you can't think, it doesn't matter what line you're using, as long as that line's not snapping, you're fine. And that's what I say. That Savage Gear line is I can't really fault it. Well, I don't know. You know, it's just one of them things. It was my bad. I should have tried for the fluorocarbon, tie a uni knot, not a normal blood knot. Not like I used for normal fishing. It's never let me down, but unfortunately, it was the wrong knot for the wrong line. So there you go. Right, next topic of conversation is fishing boats. Now, what happened was, right, one evening I'd come home from work and I was just sitting there and I thought, I looked at the forecast and I thought, Jesus, I'm going to go down, sod it, I'll have a little, just have a little go down the out for an hour, do you know what I mean? So anyway, off I went, rod in hand, went down to little local location to me, just at low tide, on the rocks. Anyway, as I was walking out to the rocks, I thought, bloody hell, I could see the dance in the water. And I thought, that is absolutely ridiculously close. Now, why they come so close? Now, what I initially thought, they're probably pots, because I remember a few years prior to that, I'd lost 2 or 3 lures, like quite long casting lures, a Pachenko 140. I lost an Astri on a rope that was obviously on the chain of bloody lobster pots. So anyway, I didn't really think much of it. Fishing away, I caught one after about bloody 5 minutes. Only a small one, little on the Axia, but it was alarming because I think I could actually nearly hit them bloody what I thought was pots. Now the funny thing is, my old buddy Steve Wood, my mate, my fishing buddy, he went down at first light at high tide, first thing in the morning. See, I'd gone later. I'd gone in the evening as the tide, about a couple of hours before obviously the low tide. Now he had gone first light, so when he got down there, he saw the boat coming in and winching up the nets. But what my theory is how come they must know that the bass are there. Why are they coming in so close? And why is it? Do you think, now you'll have to answer this in the comments, do you think they see people fishing along the rocks in the daytime and they think, there must be bass around, and they think it's an easy target? Because a lot of the time what they do is they come through at night times and they drift the whole channel because they don't really want static nets. As you see in the picture, the fucking nets are full of weed. Can you imagine picking that out? Now, personally, for me, back in the day when I was working at the I left the radiator factory to work on the fishing boats with my mate. It just seemed such a good idea. It was a mega mistake. And he used to put his trammel nets along the front of the rocks. Never ever got any bass. Never got any bass. Other people had done, but fishing slightly didn't, because he didn't really have the equipment to go. It was a mega mistake. But he never got any bass. All you seemed to get was millions and millions of crabs. They're just full of crabs. Anyway, so I know a little bit about it. The only time we did get bass is when the weather would suddenly turn around to a northeasterly or northerly and it had blown right in, and then that one time we had got a lot, but it was too dangerous to really go and haul the nets that close in with the rough weather like that. Do you know what I mean? Pushing the boat onto the rock sort of thing, like fucking Robinson Crusoe. But so my point is why do they come in so close, and why aren't they out further? But there must be a reason for that. They must know that we are catching the fish. They must see us in the daytime. What do you think? Do you think that's right or not? Anyway, answers on a postcard, please. Who actually goes to one of our marks where we fish. I don't really see him very often because obviously I'm working in the daytime, and obviously he does nights. He's a fireman. His name's Sam Rolfe. But anyway, the thing about Sam is he actually dives where we've fished. Fucking hell, you've got to watch his channel. It's amazing the underwater footage. If you actually see the bass and bait fish and bloody lobsters and all that swimming around at the thingy bob, you can even see, he finds people's lures. I think, Jesus, I must have thousands of pounds worth of lures around that area, where people have obviously got snagged. But it's interesting to watch his videos. You should check him out. The link's in the description to his site. Anyway, he catches loads of fish as well. Absolutely hammers the bass every year. He's just really a really dedicated fisherman. I mean, I have to give him a plug because he's given me so many pictures to use for my website and obviously for the page and that. I mean, I don't think he even takes it seriously. Not like me. I love doing it, even though I haven't done a video for ages. It's probably because I can't think of anything to talk about. But now I seem to have got the bug at the moment. Maybe it's because I'm not at work. I don't know. And anyway, check out his channel. It's the link's in the finger below. Do you know what I mean? Another subject. This is something I feel quite strongly about it, to be honest, and that is using a wading stick. Now, some people don't. Some people, whether it's because I'm getting older or not, but at night time, feeling around, when you're wading out over them rocks, if you're wading out at night time, I'll tell you nothing. I swear, you should always go with someone. If you're fishing at night time, and you're wading in that water, you should always fish with someone. You never know what's going to happen. I'll tell you a couple of scenarios why that wading stick is pretty much, because sometimes you're stepping around, you're not really looking what you're doing. And what I found is one night I slipped down a gully, my foot got fucking stuck in the bloody groove. Now I managed to get my foot out, right? Fair enough. Managed to get my foot out, but I thought, wait a minute, I woke up, I'd been asleep about an hour. I thought, fucking hell, can you imagine if I was on my own and I couldn't get my foot out. Now I've got so used to using a wading stick. If I ever forget it, I'm like, fucking hell. I'm not panicking, because I've actually fallen over a couple of times. I've had ruined brand new bloody phones. I've had lights that have been ruined, you know what I mean? For the sake of having that, just to feel where you're going. There's no point taking any bloody risks out there, do you know? It's a dangerous old game, do you know what I mean? Fishing, especially with them, you know, anything can happen. You must be with someone, you know, if you're fishing at night time, especially if you're on your own, or if you know, or especially if you don't know the area or you're not familiar with the area, you must always make sure you look like a safety officer. But I do think it's important, because I think you're not going to get a second chance if something goes really, really wrong. You're not going to press rewind. So anyway, my number one tip for the year is get a wading stick and use a wading stick. If you're not sure, if you're not very good on your feet, make sure you get a wading stick. Even use them in the daytime. So, like I said, if I leave mine at home now, I think, oh God, Jesus Christ, I don't feel comfortable at all. Saves you slipping over as well. Bloody hell, there's nothing worse. Don't take no risks. See you later. Thanks for watching the video. That's the end of the video actually for today, because I'll have to think of some other topics to talk about until we get back into the fishing. Like I keep saying every year, this year I'm going to try and do things. I'm going to try and get some daytime fishing if I can, and get some film footage. Because when I go back through some of the old fish, I think, Jesus, apart from my language, I think, God, it's really exciting. It gets my blood boiling, and I was the one that was actually there fishing and catching the fish, you know what I mean? So anyway, take it easy out there. Remember, stay safe, it's important. Been told. See ya.